For some of us, words like retreat and spiritual direction sound like things other people have time to do, but not us. Does retreat mean isolating oneself for a week, or is it a specific amount of time in which we step back from the busyness and chaos of our world? And spiritual direction often sounds like a spiritual GPS to us. In 500 feet, turn right. For others among you, these are familiar terms, and you're coming because you desire to come, to renew, deepen, and refresh your relationship with God. Spiritual direction and retreats are experiences, and they enable us to focus and to attend to a key relationship in our life, the one all other relationships are modeled upon, our relationship with the Holy One, that is beyond us, yet embedded within us. We exist in a network of life-giving relationships with God, self, others, and creation. Relationships that nurture and challenge and delight and sustain us. Each of these relationships reveal to us some saving grace. Each of these relationships takes time and attention to maintain, as we well know. For example, we are becoming more attentive to our relationship with the earth and creation in general, and we're beginning to focus some of our attention on that. We are also conscious of others and attend to them in many diverse ways. Our relationship with God and self, however, are two that we may often take for granted and rarely give focused time and attention to. Retreat is like stepping off an escalator and taking a moment to find where you are going. Evelyn Underhill, a British spiritual writer, put it this way: Jesus, who rarely gave detailed instructions about anything, did about prayer. In Matthew chapter 6, verse 6, he says, "When you pray, go into your room and shut the door. Then God, who is unseen, will reward you." She says we could almost see Jesus smile as he said this, those three words, shut the door, because it is an extraordinarily difficult thing to do. We usually keep it open just a crack, and the whistling draft comes in from the outer world with its worries and responsibilities. And we're so afraid of missing something. Shut the door when you come to pray. Spiritual direction is the practice of being focused on and attentive to God's movement within us. We do so with someone trained in deep listening to our experience of God and a discerning reflection on our spiritual journey without judgment, and who may give gentle suggestions when needed. And so it's more like a conversation where you own the story and you may see something you haven't noticed before. At some point on your spiritual journey, you might want to reflect on one or more of these questions, whether in this time or at another time. Do you desire a relationship with God? Or is it God who desires a relationship with you? How might you describe the relationship with God that you have? And how might God describe God's own relationship with you? I once heard someone ask, why would God want a relationship with me? Now that is an interesting question, one that invites an answer and one that goes deeper than the surface. So we have many and diverse relationships with people, animals, nature, organizations, and we do not always attend to them all equally. Each of our relationship brings a new experience. Some of those experiences we attend to and from which we gain insight. Others we may take for granted or ignore for a while. Yet it is the experience of these relationships that create, nurture, and challenge us. It is often where God is revealed to us, as it was in the stories of sacred scripture, so too in our story. Relationships grow and deepen, we know, when we attend to them. For example, a good friend with us responds to a question we've asked with a tone in their voice that says to us, something's not right here. By attending to our experience of their voice, we note that and decide to follow up on that with them later, or perhaps not to at that time. Thus, it is our attention to our inner experience, not simply only the external relationship, but our attention to what we are experiencing in that relationship. My closing remark, I guess, would be enjoy this time of discovering the richness of God's relationship with you, and shut the door of your room and your mind and leave your tech outside. Focus on the source of your being and pay deep attention, and your God will reward you, as it says in Matthew 6, verse 6.